Hey, what's up, Ember Shores fam? Welcome back to How to Survive Ember Shores with your host, Lillian. Today is episode 5 of How to Transfer Tickets and Packages for Ember Shores. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure to give me a follow on that, as well as my Instagram and TikTok. I also post all of these updated episodes on my TikTok as well as the Facebook group page, as well as my Discord, so if you're not a part of those, make sure you link and subscribe. Today's episode is going to be all about transferring tickets and packages and spots in your room and what your options are in both selling and purchasing those. Now, I know that we are less than 65 days till we are all on the beautiful Ember Shores, but I know that we have one deadline coming up very soon. October 21st is the deadline for the room booking name forms. That is a Google Sheet that Ember Shores should have sent your lead booker in with your packages when you purchased it. If you have not received this link yet, either email Ember Shores or you can use the link down below to fill out those forms. Now, in addition to that form, you also will want to download the Ember Shores app on your phone. If you already have it downloaded from previous years, you're going to have to go into the App Store, re-download it and update it, and then it should repopulate. If you were like me and you tried to log in just right away, it has everything up from 2023, but they have updated it, so make sure you go update it in the iOS or the Google Store. The second deadline that's coming up is October 17th. That is the registration in the app. You'll go ahead and open up the app, and as you click through, there will be a button on the bottom that says register now. You'll go ahead and register to the festival. It'll give you out a list of things that are included, which are your flights, what day it comes, just so they can get an idea of how many shuttles and how many people are going to be coming in each day, so that they're just prepared for that. That due date is October 17th. I don't know if that form is separate from the Google form. I personally am going to make sure that my Google form and my entire room is registered through the app by October 17th. Each individual needs to register on the app, and this will also register you for your festival wristband. It should link at the same time. When you register for one, it'll register you for the other as well. Each person has to do that, and then only the group lead has to fill out the Google form. In the Google form, it'll ask you for your name, the primary booker, and all of your information, as well as your roommate, so make sure you have that on hand. The first thing I want to say, like I've said in all my other previous videos, myself as well as Ember Shores are not responsible for any scammer issues that you may encounter. Please use your best judgment and use PayPal goods and services or Venmo goods and services to when you are purchasing or selling with strangers, to avoid any issues. Now remember, it is not the best idea to purchase from a stranger, but we are all aware that it happens. This is the culture of the rave community. But with that being said, I personally wouldn't buy or sell my ticket if either party does not want to do a video call. Whenever I have sold off package portions in the past, I have always video called the other person just to kind of have a face-to-face chat with them. So this is probably going to be your best fail safe to make sure that you are not getting scammed. You can ask for Instagram proof of like other festivals that they've gone to, have them like send you videos or pictures, just anything to help you vet out this person to make sure that one, they're a real person, and that two, that you guys vibe. Because if you're staying in this same room with this new person, you're definitely going to want to create some sort of friendship or relationship before you go to Ember Shores to make sure that everybody is on the same page. So with these deadlines coming up very quickly, I know that there are a lot of people who are trying to either sell parts of their package, their entire package, or spots in their room. So I just wanted to give a quick detailed option list of what your options are to either purchase or sell your tickets. When you're posting your room or spots to sell on the Facebook page, make sure that you post with a screenshot of your order form with your important information blacked out. So that includes your email address, your order confirmation number, your credit card numbers, anything of any importance, make sure that you black that out. In addition, make sure that you look at the resort tower as well as how many people can be accommodated in your room, because there are different levels and there are different room types. So make sure that you are purchasing or trying to purchase from somebody who has the same tower that you want or the same amount of people that you want in your room. And especially if you are selling off spots, make sure that you do have those spots available in your room package. Because like myself, as well as many other people, we all can agree that the ticketing website for this year was absolutely awful. Like, I'm sorry to whoever designed the website and laid it all out. Like, it's a lot of work. I get that. I'm not a web developer, I'm not a web designer or anything. I do production for a living, and that is totally out of my wheelhouse, but it was really difficult to navigate the web page this year because there were just so many options. It was so busy. That background was so busy, and it was just really hard to kind of find everything. So Ember Shores, I would love to see a better ticketing website next year, because I've talked to many people and we all can agree that it was really difficult to navigate the page. So if you're a web developer or web designer, like, shoot Ember Shores some emails and be like, hey, I have an idea on how to make this better. Maybe they'll bite. I don't know. Who knows? So with all that being said, if you were a person who bought a room that you thought was a 3-person room and you accidentally bought a 1 or 2-person room, or you thought you were buying a 4-person room but it actually turned out to be a 3-person room, like, know that you're not alone. You are not the only person that did that. There are so many people that I know who encountered this issue where they thought they were buying a 4-person room, ended up buying a 3-person room, had to email Ember Shores and them saying like, oh, you can repurchase and then we'll refund you their original amount, but you couldn't purchase any of those 4-person rooms because they were already sold out. So just know that you're not alone, okay? I want to talk now about buying a spot or a package from a seller. You're going to be seeing a lot of people selling off either their entire package, spots to reside in the room during the festival, or spots that you can purchase that you will have to stay in your friend's room. So let me just break down all of these different options for you. So option number 1 is you are purchasing an entire room off of somebody who has already purchased it. They may be on a payment plan or they may have paid it in full. If they have already paid it in full, you can easily transfer that package to the new buyer. If that room is not fully paid off yet, you're not going to be able to transfer that until the payment plan has been finished, which is in November. So if this is the case, make sure that your purchaser emails Ember Shores saying, hey, I have somebody who I'm transferring this package to. I know we can't do transfers until after it's fully paid off, but make sure that you email Ember Shores beforehand so that they're aware, and they should be able to waive the $150 name change fee if you email them before. Now, if you do it afterwards, they're not guaranteeing that. You will probably have to pay the $150 room change name form. However, if you are purchasing from somebody who is on a payment plan, you can still have them submit the Google form with all of the new attendees instead of having that lead booker and their original people. So that is one way to make sure that you have your name in the system somehow before the full transfer of the package. Now, I've heard a couple of different ways on how to actually transfer the packages, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, because the information I've been getting from about a month ago till about now has been kind of different. So I want to just go through both of those options a little bit later in this video. If you're purchasing a spot to reside in somebody's room, here is what I would do. The first thing is that make sure y'all vibe. Like, they might be a person who is staying up all night and you want to sleep, and that's probably not gonna mesh well because they might be in and out of the room. Now, it might be vice versa. Maybe they want to stay out all night and you want the room to be able to like be your zen calm place afterwards, to be able to chill and decompress. Like, that might not work out. So just make sure that you guys vibe before you commit to anybody. The second thing is obviously make sure you video call, make sure that they're a real person, see if you have any similar interests, if you're going to any festivals besides Ember Shores that you can like link up at, maybe a local show, anything like that. Um, so that is how I would go about trying to find those people. Now, there are a ton of people on my Discord as well as the Facebook group who are posting and selling single spots or are looking for single spots. So make sure you look through those and do your research. Now, the third option is to purchase and sell a spot where you will be staying with one of your other friends. So, for the people who thought they were booking a 4-person room and unfortunately bought a 3-person or a 1 or 2-person room, this is the best option for you. What you're going to want to do is you're going to find somebody who is trying to sell off just one of their spots. For example, both in years 3 as well as this year, I actually have sold off my last spot to somebody who is going to be staying in another room. Those rooms usually can hold up to 4 people, but for the festival, they accidentally purchased a 3-person room, and so I was able to sell my person for this year a spot, and she will be staying in the other person's room. Since we're in the same tower, we're doing the exact same itinerary, so it makes it really easy for us. So I'm very thankful to her and her family who are coming in. I believe they have 2 other rooms and they needed a 4th person in the second room, and they weren't able to purchase that 4-person room. So I'm very glad that I was able to help. Now, do know that if you do choose this option, that this person, whoever you're having check in into your room, but they're staying in another room, they will still have room access with their festival hotel wristband. In previous years at the Paradisus specifically, I don't know if this is going to be the same case as the Barcelo, but when I checked in at the Paradisus year 3, we had 3 people checking in at the same time, and then the 4th person was coming a little bit later. So we all checked in and we had our room bands perfectly activated. It all worked. Then they checked in and then it deactivated our other 3 wristbands. So we had to go back up to the front desk to be able to get them engaged to be able to get into our room. So this might be an issue that you may run into. If that's the case, make sure that everybody in your group goes to the front desk at the same time to get all of their wristbands reactivated at the same time. Otherwise, it's just going to keep kicking people out. So just be aware that this person may end up having access to your room. So just make sure that you have a conversation with them to make sure that they're not going to be coming into the room because they will have access to the room and yada, yada, yada. Once you've squared away all of the details with your new purchaser or buyer, make sure that you reach out to Ember Shores again to fully transfer over the package. Now, I've heard there are several different ways to transfer a package, depending on when you transfer your package. What I have heard that has been successful, I believe, is to email Ember Shores with the person who you are selling with, and loop them into the thread, the email chain. Let them know that you're transferring your package to this new person and they have called and done a 3-way call. Now, I don't know if that information is 100% accurate because I was talking to another person recently and they said that they wanted to try and call Ember Shores and like talk to an actual person because what they were trying to do was really complicated, and they said that they didn't have a phone number for Ember Shores. So I'm not sure what the discrepancy is here, but from what I've heard, to transfer packages, you have to do a 3-way call with all 3 of the party members. So the original buyer, the new buyer, and Ember Shores. So if you've transferred a package recently, can you let me know how you're doing it? Because this is information that I've had for about a month or so, and the phone call, not being able to phone call anymore, is within like the last week. So I'm not sure if something changed within the last month or so. This year, transferring packages has been more difficult than the previous 3 years. I'm not exactly sure why, but there is more difficulty in transferring packages. Even if you're gifting a package, or transferring the buyer who was purchasing a room for somebody else and then transferring it to them. Just something this year is a little weird and funky, so just be aware of that. So once everything's transferred over, you should be receiving an email from Ember Shores that that transfer has moved over. Only the lead booker will get that. Once the lead booker has filled out the Google form for your room names, for the room attendee names, each attendee should be getting an email confirmation with all of the information that the lead booker put into that form. A few other things to note when you're purchasing and selling your rooms using PayPal is that PayPal has a conversion rate fee as well as a transfer fee if you are selling to non-friends and families. Um, so if you as the seller do not want to pay for this conversion fee as well as the PayPal fee, make sure that you tack it on to your total cost of what you are selling that package for. Another side note about purchasing a spot in another person's room who is not going to be staying in that room and will instead be staying in your room, make sure that you're looking at the tower that you are purchasing from. For example, if you're staying in the Riviera and you're trying to purchase a spot in the Palace, the person whose spot in the Palace will not have full access to everything else because the Riviera has access to all towers, food and drinks, whereas the Palace or any of the other ones do not have full access. So make sure that whatever your tower that you are trying to purchase a spot in matches the same amenities as your original tower that you have already booked. If you have any other issues or any other questions or concerns, please make sure that you reach out to Ember Shores. I know they're pretty good at responding to emails fairly quickly. I did email them a while ago about some room things, but they have not responded to me, so I actually need to reach out to them again. So overall, when you're purchasing your packages or selling off your packages, just make sure that you're diligent on the information of which tower you're purchasing and what that entails. And then if you are purchasing just a spot and staying in another room versus selling a spot to stay in that room, just make sure that you are being clear in your posts as well as when you are looking for those. Anyways, I am so thankful that you have made it all the way through this video. I hope this cleared up some questions about how to transfer packages. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me, throw a comment in the comments, reach out to Ember Shores because I don't have all the information from Ember Shores. I'm just giving you my best educated guesses as well as my own experience. So that is that. Thank you again for joining me on today's episode. I am so thankful for everybody who has stayed with me, who has found me through Ember Shores. Like, I love Ember Shores. This is my absolute favorite festival that I've ever been to. I haven't been to a whole bunch, but I can very strongly say that Ember Shores is my absolute #1 favorite festival over EDC. You cannot convince me. I know that's a hot take and I know some people won't like it, but I don't care. Ember Shores is better than EDC. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, so thank you all for being here. I started this series because my first year of Ember Shores was not at what I expected it, so I just wanted to create a series where I could share my tips and tricks and give them to you guys so that you can have a better first year than I did. Anyways, I'll see you all next time. Bye, everyone!